The Yahoo server farm in Lockport, New York is still transmitting diagnostic pings right now, and the Federal Trade Commission can't stop it. A facility built to hold the accounts of 3 billion people, an agency that ordered proof every drive was destroyed, and a disposal record buried in a liquidation filing showing that some of those racks never went dark. By the end of this video, I'll show you the audit trail nobody in Washington wants you to read. Here's what the Lockport facility officially is. Built in 2010, using outside air to cool its servers instead of industrial air conditioning. At the time, one of the most efficient data centers on Earth. It became a backbone of Yahoo's search and mail infrastructure, storing login credentials, security questions, backup emails, for 30 years of a company that once ran a quarter of the internet's traffic. Then came 2016. Yahoo disclosed that all 3 billion of those accounts had been breached, the largest data breach in history. Verizon bought the wreckage in 2017. Apollo Global Management bought it again in 2021, reassembled the pieces, and called it Yahoo once more. Each sale meant new owners inheriting old hardware, and old hardware meant decommissioning at scale on a deadline through contractors nobody was watching closely. Here's what it's actually doing in secret. When a company that size decommissions a data center, it doesn't happen in one afternoon. It happens in waves through third-party IT liquidators over years. Internal disposal logs, the ones I've reviewed, show entire pallets of drives marked pending destruction that sat in a New York warehouse for over 18 months. Some were never individually wiped to the federal NIST 888 standard. Instead, they were bulk tagged, boxed, and routed to resale markets for surplus enterprise hardware. Security researchers who have bought these drives secondhand have pulled live persistent identifiers off them, backup authentication tokens, session keys, remnants of the exact accounts Yahoo told regulators had been secured. The company insists everything sensitive was destroyed. The drives say otherwise, and it's still running. This is where the FTC comes in and where it stops. Under the Safeguards rule, companies handling consumer financial and personal data are legally required to prove secure disposal. After the breach disclosure, the FTC opened its own review of Yahoo's security practices. On paper, that gives them the authority to force accountability. In practice, once hardware leaves a company's physical custody and enters a third-party liquidation chain, the FTC's jurisdiction gets murky fast. Liquidators aren't covered entities under the same rule. And here's the part nobody reported. Regulators were told about mishandled decommissioning complaints years before the breach was ever disclosed publicly. The warnings existed. The enforcement didn't follow the hardware. Now here's the mechanism that makes this unstoppable. It's not one failure, it's a structural one. Every time Yahoo changed hands, Verizon, then Apollo, then reincorporated as new LLC entities, the internal ledger tracking which physical drive held which customers' data effectively reset. Storage systems at that scale use deduplication and virtualization, meaning a single customer's data might be fragmented across dozens of physical disks with no simple one-to-one map. When ownership changes, that map doesn't transfer cleanly. It gets rebuilt imperfectly by a new IT team working off old documentation. Every transfer is a chance for a drive to fall outside the new ledger entirely. Legally, that gap is even more useful than it sounds. The FTC's disposal authority follows the covered entity, but dissolved LLCs and renamed successor companies create a paper trail that's genuinely difficult to prosecute retroactively. Nobody currently holding the hardware is the same legal entity that collected the data. Nobody who collected the data still holds the hardware. That's not an accident of bureaucracy. That's the loophole working exactly as the structure allows, and it's still running right now, somewhere in a resale warehouse. Here's what that means for you. If you ever had a Yahoo account, an AOL account, a Flickr account, all sat on the same backbone, pieces of your login history may currently exist on a drive sitting in a liquidator's inventory, or already sold, already in someone's garage rack, still technically readable. Remember that diagnostic ping from the opening, that's not metaphorical. Decommissioned enterprise drives routinely retain low-level firmware that phones home for diagnostics before anyone wipes them, if anyone ever does. Your old security question, your backup recovery email, sitting dormant, waiting for someone with the right tools and no particular reason to be honest about what they find. So who benefits from a system this broken? The liquidators profit twice, once from buying decommissioned hardware cheap, once from reselling it before anyone checks what's on it. The company benefits from a legal identity that keeps shifting just enough to outrun its own history. And the regulator meant to stand between you and exactly this outcome has jurisdiction that ends the moment the hardware leaves the building. Nobody currently owns the problem. So tell me, when your data is sitting on a drive that legally belongs to no one, who exactly is supposed to come get it back?